There are many people who, witnessing the things happening in the church, feel as if we are living in a silent apostasy. To be fair, that view is bolstered by disturbing data from research organizations that claim that according to Catholics answering their surveys, fewer than 13% in the United States go to Mass on a regular basis. And for the survey designers, a regular basis meant once a month. Fewer still who go to Mass on a regular basis actually believe the moral teachings of the faith, or, even worse, actually believe that Jesus Christ is truly present in the Eucharist. Many feel there is a silent apostasy happening. Today I have for you words from Padre Pio, a continuation from the most recent one of his letters to his spiritual director, where he builds off of what he was saying before. And he felt he was seeing an apostasy in his own time on far less grave matters than we see today. And the question I have for you, when you hear what he said in the last one, when you hear what he says today, how many of us would be counted among those apostates? Here's Padre Pio to his spiritual director. My Father, once again it has dawned on me that I was not just talking but writing. Ah, for charity's sake, forgive and sympathize with one whose heart is aching. And you must pity me all the more because the illness from which I suffer is of itself incurable. You exhort me to offer myself as a victim to the Lord for poor sinners. I have already made this offer, and I continually renew it every day. But how is it that the Lord does not answer me? I have even offered my life in return for their salvation, and yet the Lord allows me to continue to live. Therefore does this mean that the fiery offering I offered him, and even now I offer my whole self to him, has not pleased him? I cannot hide from you the constriction my heart feels in seeing so many souls apostatizing from Jesus. And what makes my heart's blood run even colder is that the only reason many of these souls become distant from God, source of living water, is because they are starved of the divine word. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Who will gather in the harvest, which is almost ready from the field of the church? Will it be scattered all over the ground because of the shortage of workers? Will it be gathered in by the emissaries of Satan, who are unfortunately very plentiful and very active? Ah, the most sweet God will never allow this to happen. He will take pity on human misery, which is becoming very great. Moreover, be calm and never refuse in any way, or for any motive, to give alms to anyone who happens to be there. And not only this, but when the right opportunities present themselves, offer your very self. The Lord desires as much, and you should strive to do it. It seems to me that God has poured in the depths of this soul many graces regarding the poor and the needy. The great compassion that my soul feels when I see someone in need gives birth in its very center to a most vehement desire to help them. And if I were to heed the promptings of my will, I would strip myself down to rags to clothe them. If I know that someone is afflicted, whether in soul or body, what would I not do for the Lord to see them free of their ills? To see them saved, I would take upon myself all their afflictions, giving them in return the fruits of such sufferings, if the Lord would allow it. I exhort you not to sadden yourself at all because of my distress, if you don't want to, and add more sadness to which I already feel. The sweet Jesus will not leave her in this state without consoling her. May the God of goodness be praised. Knowing how bitter these griefs are, and how much greater the crown gained through them, I am tempted to ask Jesus to send me the sorrows that are prepared for her. But I realize that I am being selfish, longing to have the better part for myself. But let us ask Jesus that if this would give him a little glory, that he should do it. I am distressed only in seeing you so greatly tried. I feel all your afflictions as if they were mine. Knowing of all your troubles, I spontaneously ask the Lord to command your misfortune to relent a little, or to increase your strength to resist, with sweet resignation to his most holy will. I beg him more and more to let these trials, which are reserved for you, fall on my head, while the crown and prize earned by such trials be reserved for you. But while I am praying in this way and sorrowing, I also feel a spiritual joy, because of the great love that God bears you. And the storm that roars about your head and causes such confusion is a certain sign of this love. Courage, then, and forward. Jesus wants to make a tiny little hole in your spirit through this trial. Therefore, be grateful to him for it. Before, however, this letter arrives at its destination, as I have unlimited trust in our Heavenly Father, this struggle will, at least in part, become much less fierce, and it will therefore be easier to bear it, as the sweet Jesus has, in accordance with my willing offer, made me a participant in it. I am very, very sad to hear that you are in poor health. I am praying to the Lord for your recovery. Not being able to do anything else for you, I have frequently offered myself to the Lord for you, as a victim. And now that I know that you are ill, with greater fervor I frequently renew my offer to Jesus. I cannot hide from you how I feel all your anxieties as my own, and how, almost by a blind instinct, I am impelled to beg the divine mercy to command this torment to stop. I was very sorry to hear that you are in a bad way physically, and I beg Jesus incessantly to send this trial to me, quadrupling it if he wills, and to give you all the merit. If this is for the best, I would be delighted to take on the role of Simon of Cyrene for you. I beg you too to implore Jesus to grant this permission. And there is Padre Pio, repeatedly offering, or telling his spiritual director, that he offers himself to suffer for others, for their salvation. Do we ever do that? One has to wonder. Let me know in the comments what you think of this remarkable letter by Padre Pio. It does get a little cheerier in the future from Padre Pio, I assure you. I already can tell you that the next chapters of his letters are about the Virgin Mary, so they will be a little more uplifting than these letters on his personal suffering. And Padre Pio has a reputation among Catholics that is a little more cheery than this, I think, because people tend to express shock when they hear what he has to say about people apostatizing and the church being afflicted by apostates and the rest. It sounds a little like people like myself and others who warn about what's happening in the church. They're a little shocked by this from Padre Pio. But it does get more positive as we go forward. Let me know what you think of this in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help. Sharing this on social media helps too. And as always, pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.